Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Truth Noir. It's been a little while since we've been on the air last. Last time we wrapped up season 2, and that I believe was about almost 130 episodes. I think 50 or 60 of which aired. We've been through a lot of changes recently. We recently changed facilities. You know, when we first put this show on hiatus, I was like, well, surely everything has been said, right? We solved all of the world's problems. We talked about all the things that needed to be done. I know some of you heard them. I assumed that you'd actually went out and did the things, but it turns out the world is still messed up. So I'm back. For season 3, first episode of season 3, I want to thank the good people at Pasadena Media and the Arroyo channel for hosting us here and letting us continue this little mission that we're on. So we're going to be back here, I don't think weekly, but we will be doing more shows throughout the coming months about the things in the world that are messed up that don't get enough coverage. So, joining me here today, I figured I would bring back an old friend and fellow concerned citizen. It's Adam Papagan. Thank you, sir. Norm? Thank you for coming back and sitting with me.
Anytime.
So yeah, you are back here as well at Pasadena Media. You've renamed your show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it for someone that's brand new to the scene?
Yeah, sure. Well, hello, Pasadena Media. I'm Adam Papagan. I'm the host of the ASMR Talk Show. It's very similar to the show we were doing at Drone Box. There's a place, the ASMR Talk Show, but we've shortened the show down. We've shortened the title down, so it's really just more streamlined. We're going to get better guests. We're going to have better production, everything. But it's basically a show where we use talk in soft voices to sort of elicit ASMR stimulus in the front of your head, which I probably should have explained on the first episode out here, but people will get it. I don't know. You can, we got 150 episodes or so of that we did previously, all of which aired, mind you. So that record's a little better than yours. But
you do have a much better track record for airing episodes than I do.
Well, to each his own. Maybe only 50, 60 of them should have aired or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just here to just talk to interesting people and enjoy public access television and participate in the community.
Yeah, it really is a gem that more people should have access to, this public television, public access, and that is not available in a lot of areas.
Most areas it's not available.
Most areas, I mean, here...
And it used to be everywhere.
Here we're lucky to have, what do we have, Torrance, Pasadena,
Monrovia. West Hollywood has one, but the West Hollywood one is pretty much just the channel.
Oh, okay.
The Torrance one is Torrance citizens only. So there was one up in Ventura we went to briefly. That's a little too far away. But with near the city of Los Angeles, this is far and above the best facility.
Yeah, no, it's leaps and bounds above what we had access to immediately before this place, so I'm definitely grateful for that. Yeah, we had a topic that we were going to discuss and put together a little bit. We might as well jump right into it. We have on TV all of the anti-smoking ads. Now, if anyone's familiar with this, I don't know if you watch TV out there, but if you do, you've probably seen these ads. A little bit of backstory on it. A few years back, the big tobacco companies lost a massive lawsuit regarding them continuing to market their products to minors, knowing that it was a highly addictive substance, nicotine. And we have a couple of old poster ads for old tobacco ads that you would find in magazines, and they would have regular TV commercials like you would have for any other name brand product. And so this guy is he's just diving. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to fly, but it looks like the Lucky Strike cigarette is going to turn him into a big blue Hulk.
Yeah, who wouldn't want that?
I would smoke Lucky Strikes every day if I thought that would be the outcome. But of course it wasn't, and a lot of people developed lung problems, and because
heart disease.
Yeah, and because you had characters and mascots like Joe Cool and the Marlboro Man.
Joe Camel. Joe Cool is Snoopy.
Joe Camel. My apologies.
Yeah.
But you had these
Truth, NOIR.
Thanks for fact checking me on that.
Fact check.
But yeah, you had these cool characters that appealed to kids and the candy cigarettes, and so you had a lot of kids smoking from a very early age. And finally, a few years ago, the tobacco companies lost this big lawsuit, and they're like, you're no longer allowed to advertise anywhere where little kids might see, and in addition, you have to, at your own expense, pay for these anti-smoking ads on TV, and the little card that they show before those commercials, they usually say, by court order. You can read that. And so these are all the big tobacco companies: Altria, R.J. Reynolds, Lorillard, Philip Morris, among others, were forced in this lawsuit to come up with all of these anti-smoking ads. And so what do?
Well, so this is okay. And this is a conspiracy that I think I'm kind of really at the forefront of exposing here. We do it on the show. And again, this is a conspiracy. I'm not saying that this is true, but what is commonly accepted about our societies? Oh, big corporations can do whatever they want. We have lobbyists, whatever. The government doesn't really care about us. They let all these harmful things into our air and pollution and stuff.
Sure.
Right, that's widely accepted. But most people would say, oh, there's all this corruption in Washington. There's all these corporations and private interests are really what's pulling the strings behind the scenes, right? We can all agree on that.
Sure.
That sounds pretty reasonable.
Absolutely.
So then why is this one dangerous thing the topic that gets demonized? Shouldn't these big corporations, R.J. Reynolds, Philip Morris, shouldn't they have people behind the scenes who can pull strings, who they can bribe, who they can prevent from laws like this ever being enacted? Doesn't it seem like they would be able to stop a law like this if it was going to negatively affect them?
Well, yeah, I mean, the tobacco lobby is one of the most massive that there is, and yet they have this obligation to produce these anti-smoking commercials. Now, if it were up to me or most other people that maybe lost a family member to a lung cancer or emphysema or something like that, I would put pictures of the direct afflictions of these things. But what they have instead is they look like YouTube videos of little kids reviewing their different flavors of vape liquid.
They have another PSA public service announcement that is just listing all the different flavors of vape products. Now that sounds like a commercial to me.
It absolutely does.
So my thought is that these PSAs are actually, because they're no longer allowed to advertise on television with actual commercials that are calls to action, these PSAs have effectively replaced the commercials. It's kind of a all publicity is good publicity thing. Yeah,
good old P.T. Barnum, just spell my name right.
Yes, they understand that cigarettes are not for everyone. However, if you are going to smoke, you're going to smoke no matter what. And no matter how many times you're not to, it's going to be reverse psychology, putting you in there. And once they have a customer for life. Because yes, these things are addictive and they do cause health problems. However, there are many dangerous things in our society that are not regulated. There's no backlash against. And so I think that these PSAs are, in fact, this was all a big conspiracy to be able to continue tobacco advertising to the masses.
Right. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think it's really dangerous, not only in this one aspect, but for society as a whole. Because what if you have some other massive industrial accident that adversely affects a lot of people and causes a lot of people to have these extremely bad health side effects, that instead of forcing them to pay huge amounts of sums, at least to the victims of their incompetence or
But
their
these
negligence.
people chose to smoke. No one was forcing anyone to smoke.
That's true, but they were also persuaded to buy this marketing towards little kids. What about this? I'm trying to go along.
So should we sue credit card companies for, making it so you can buy products?
No, I don't.
It's the right of the company as a corporation to act in their own interest and sell their products, and it's the right of us as the public to purchase them or not purchase them.
True.
And whether it's dangerous or not, I don't think anything that makes you cough and makes your throat hurt. Yeah, it's gonna be bad for you. But people like cigarettes because they chill you out and they make you look cool.
That's fair.
And if it puts an adverse health effect, whatever, that's a different issue.
Right, but
So why are the tobacco companies being overly penalized when, there's other companies?
Well, I would argue that they're not. They were forced to reword their commercials in a little bit ways,
Yeah.
I think what we're agreeing on.
Yes.
Because if they were really being penalized, they would show pictures like what we're going to show here next of like how these new next generation of smoking products can go horribly wrong. Because sometimes these things just blow up in your face. Like these are,
Yeah.
That's an actual injury from a vape pen. I think if they were actually being punished, they would be forced to show ads like this and say,
Or stop selling them.
or pull them from the market.
Yeah.
And be like, this could possibly very well happen to you.
Oh, that's the vape pen I use.
Is it?
That's similar. I think they're probably all the same.
Yeah, they all work on the same kind of basic construct of, you're putting a battery very close to your face and you're having a hot element vaporized liquid that you're then inhaling. As bad as all of the chemicals that, are used to soak our cigarette paper, debatable. I would say that they're probably equally harmful in possibly different ways. But,
Cigarettes are bad for you. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah,
They're definitely bad for you.
We're just commenting about the irony of the punishment to a corporation for marketing to little kids a product that they know is addictive, to have to then produce commercials that are called anti-smoking commercials that actually make smoking look a lot of fun and introduce a lot of the different flavors of their various products that they sell.
And would this be, I'm not sure, would this be a tax write-off to these companies producing these commercials?
It's got to be.
Probably, I would
it's
imagine
a
so.
court-imposed thing.
Yeah.
So, that's an expense that you have to make.
It's a business expense.
Right.
So technically they'd be able to write off all this money, which I'm sure they pad the budgets. Now, the only hole in this conspiracy,
What's that?
smoking rates have gone down and continue to go down since these PSAs have been airing.
Well, I think it's also since they've been jumping legislatively, increasing and adding taxes to the cost of cigarettes across the board, but also especially in specific places. That probably, if cigarettes cost $20 a pack, I would never smoke them.
Mm-hmm. But the right customer for them would. And then now the government gets to dip in on capitalizing off of somebody's addiction, just like they do with scratchers and lottery tickets. Just like the government does. They're always trying to screw us. How much does it cost to register a vehicle in California? It's
like
$50, $80. It just price goes up and up and up.
Yeah.
In Nevada, it's like $10 because they make all their money from people's addictions who are from out of state.
Right.
Give it back to the
pull it in
people,
from everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. all over the world, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something that's just not adding up. Maybe we cracked it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly one of those things that flies under the radar. Like, a lot of people will see these things and be like, oh, that's an anti-smoking ad paid for by the tobacco companies because they were ordered to by the court. But other people will see them, I think, for something closer to what they really are, which is they are now showing videos with little kids like they're on YouTube reviewing products and saying, oh, I really like this one, I really like this one, and at the end they say, but this stuff is really bad and causes cancer. It
just goes over your head.
It's like over a lot of people's
it's like
heads,
the teacher,
yeah.
your mom telling you not to do something. And if you are rebellious, if you're the type of person who's going to be attracted to smoking cigarettes, then this is just going to incentivize you. Like, I need to go get a pack of smokes.
There's nothing else to it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, if any other corporation were found guilty of like amoral marketing,
why not Anheuser-Busch?
Anything.
I think it's directly comparable. Those frogs that say Budweiser, the guys who say "What's up?"
Yeah, no, you have like cute mascots and you have cool dudes with catchphrases, and then if like beer was making people blind because of something in it, and the beer brewers were forced to produce these commercials, I think they would be the exact same commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh man, beer makes me so cool, and then it would be a beer causes liver disease, which is essentially what these are that the tobacco companies are doing. And yeah, it's they show them every commercial break too, sometimes twice within a commercial break,
and on non-commercial stations. Because there's laws that the networks, radio stations, whatever, have to, in college radio, whatever, they have to put in some PSAs every once in a while.
Right.
It's part of their requirement. And so this PSA isn't buckle up. This PSA is like, look at all these great tobacco products that are out these days.
Yeah, they're dangerous, but oh, they're so cool. They even end with the same little review videos of the kids being like, and this one's my favorite. And it's just like, man, you guys. So, yeah, that's another. So I would say the tobacco lobbies are very strong and very successful because they are the ones, they probably preferred this and suggested it as a punishment.
Yeah.
Went in and were like, well, that's terrible. We should make them have anti-smoking ads that talk about how bad this stuff is.
And that's why they just went along with it instead of trying to fight it more. Some genius thought it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth campaign, remember that?
Yeah.
These commercials are huge budget commercials.
Yeah.
It's like if the tobacco company wasn't getting anything out of this, they would just make one that said like, hey, smoking's bad. And it'd just be like a card with like text or whatever.
Yeah.
There'd be no production value in it.
Yeah.
No
and
special effects.
And I think it's one of the worst like properties of the government that instead of forcing them to, and this is not just tobacco, but any corporation, it's like instead of reimbursing the people for their losses or medical bills or whatever it is that they've lost, they pay a fine to the government. Mm-hmm. And then they're forced to do things like this, where that are basically non-actions. Or, I mean, they are, but they're the opposite of what the stated punishment would have accomplished.
You know what the best anti-smoking commercial is?
What's that?
The one with the woman who has the hole in her throat.
Oh, and she's still dragging out of it.
I still like to smoke cigarettes even though I have a hole in my throat.
And she exhales through the...
Yeah, smoking through the hole.
Through the trach hole.
Smoking through the trach hole. That's cool. That's cool, I'm sorry.
That is pretty boss.
I mean, I'm sure this lady is, 6 feet under by now, but like that imagery is like, you never see that in like a Skittles commercial or something. She's not like, I love Skittles.
Yeah, no, well, she would choke.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, can you imagine that? What would the Skittles commercial be though?
Rainbow would shoot out of the hole.
Rainbows shoot out of your colostomy bag that you had
Taste
to
the
get
rainbow.
because they gummed up your insides.
It would probably be diabetes. It's diabetes related.
They cut off my legs due to diabetic peripheral neuropathy.
You do the prick, you prick your finger, and rainbow. It starts raining Skittles.
When my grandkids hug me, I can't feel it anymore. But I can't stop eating the Skittles because
Taste the rainbow.
Because that rainbow is addictive.
Taste the rainbow, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Are you a smoker, Norm?
I do on occasion. I'm certainly not a pack a day smoker or even like a pack a month, but if I go out somewhere, especially to a concert, like I'll get a pack or two, and I think it's, and obviously you could do this without them, but it's a good way to meet people,
Oh yeah, smokers got to stick together.
Hey, can I bum a smoke? Yeah, so I do on rare occasion, but it's not something I make a habit out of for sure. What about you?
Well, of course, if I was a liar, I would tell you no. But yeah, I mean, I am. Only when I'm drinking usually, or if I want to relax.
You double down on your vices.
Yeah, of course. That's just my personality. I'll always, more is more when it comes to that kind of thing. To a certain point, and then until it becomes less.
Right.
But I'll always just like, if I'm doing it, I'll be out there, I'm doing it. But yeah, I'll bum them or whatever. But where I draw the line is I will never purchase a pack of cigarettes because I know where that's going to lead. That's going to lead to purchasing another one. It is addictive. However, if you're hanging out what I love, I'll tell you what I really love, which I was doing for a long time, was a real spliff, which is a
you get the tobacco
and marijuana,
yeah.
and really mostly tobacco. But what would happen was I got so used to the tobacco, I'd be like, oh, I gotta smoke a spliff because I was craving the tobacco. I didn't care about the recreational marijuana part of it. Yeah. I want to and then so I had to stop doing that. So you gotta be mindful of it. But on 4th of July, I went to 2 parties. First one had cigarettes, and I was just like, no. So if I start smoking now, I'm gonna just smoke a couple today, 1 or 2, whatever. I'll save it for the next party. That's when I'll smoke the cigarettes. And I go to this party, and there were no cigarettes. And I was like, hey, anybody have any cigarettes? They're like, oh no, there's none here. It was like running out of beer at a party or something.
Oh, really?
So what I'm thinking about doing is maybe next time I go to a party, just buying a pack of cigarettes, just throw them on the table with the beer. Like, hey, these are for everybody. Frank Sinatra did a thing like that, actually. If you go visit him at his house in Palm Springs.
You just have a mountain of cocaine, right?
That was in the piano room. But when you first walked in like his office or his den, whatever, he had a coffee table with a big glass bowl that had every brand of cigarettes in it. Oh, wow. So no matter what you smoked, you just reach in there. Yeah. In there. And that's kind of classy and cool. But cigarettes are addictive. Don't smoke.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what we're parodying by having this conversation is like, there's no, because it is all publicity and it is all that kind of old concept that, P.T. Barnum had, just spell my name right, whether it's good or bad. And so, I don't know, I think they should, if it had been done in a conscientious way, been like, no, you're just not allowed to advertise anymore. Anytime a little kid could be watching anything, I mean that's
or
also
you should just be not allowed to
slope.
make these and sell them anymore.
Yeah.
If it's really such a problem.
Yeah, like stop watering your tobacco with irradiated water. I mean, they glow in the dark, you know that, right?
No, that's just the light on the end of it.
Well, no, that's your vape pen that does that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys, we are running a little shy on time. Do you have any final thoughts on the matter, Adam?
Just make your own decisions. Anything in excess is not a good idea. But, there's nothing wrong with just enjoying yourself a little bit. Oh, by the way, who benefits from cigarettes? People who work a lot, who are low income, who need a break. They need a 5-minute escape. They can't go on vacation or whatever. They need the cigarettes. So that's another thing about it I don't like, is targeting people who, granted, it's bad for them, and sometimes people need to be told, no, don't do this. But my point is if you want to have a cigarette every once in a while, you should do it. And if you don't want to smoke cigarettes, that's also your right. But don't be fooled that these commercials are not advertisements and that there's ulterior motives behind them.
Yeah, that's a good point too. They do target people that are under stress and have that nice relaxing smoke during your break at work.
No, can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame, you guys. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and I think call it a day here. I want to thank anyone who is watching this. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it's been a while, but I think truth be told, the show could have used a little bit of a break anyways.
It's always good to take some time off, have a nice drag of a cigarette, really relax.
But yeah, I want to say thank you once again to Mr. Papagan.
Always a pleasure, Norm.
Best
Thank
of
you.
luck on your ASMR talk show. And thank you all once again. There's still some work that needs to be done. So hop 2, I'm going to try and do the same. But in the meantime, wherever you're going, get there safe. Night, everyone.